and welcome to the Home Cook, where today we're going to be making homemade pasta from scratch. So to start out this recipe, you're going to be putting 2.5 cups of flour on a table, cutting board, however you'd like to do this, and then making a mound, a hole, crater in the center of the mound. I used all-purpose flour here. You can use lots of different kinds of flour, such as double zero flour, semolina flour, a lot of different kinds, or even a blend of such. Then you're going to be adding 4 whole large eggs to the center of this crater. Make sure that the eggs have reached room temperature. I usually do this by sticking the eggs outside of the fridge an hour before I start to make the dough. Next, you're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And that's all the ingredients you're going to need for the entire recipe. Next, you're going to be whisking the eggs and slowly bringing in some of the flour on the outside of the mound to try to mix it in as you do this. Once the eggs are completely whisked, however, then you're going to start making the dough. The entire process from, I'd say, start to finish probably only takes about 15 minutes. Once you get all the dough like this start to get formed and slowly gets more solid, more smooth like this, then you're just going to be kneading it for an additional 10 minutes or so until it becomes nice, really smooth, really elastic, just like such. I usually kind of just mold mine, round it into a little ball. Then I'm going to cover it in plastic wrap and sit it for room temperature for about 30 minutes. I'm going to be using, I like to make the dough by hand. I really enjoy making the dough by hand more than I enjoy using a stand mixer for it. But I will use a stand mixer to make the pasta noodles themselves. I got this as a gift before I was able to purchase like a hand crank, and I figured this is just easier on me than having to buy a hand crank when I already have this available to me. So to start this out, I take the dough after it's been resting for 30 minutes, take it off, unwrap it, stretch it out, kind of stretch it a little lengthways. That way it actually fits a little bit through the I guess the thinner, makes it flatter, smushes it, however you'd like to say it. I did make a mistake. I did add it a little bit too thick, so I had to fold it over and roll it a little thinner like you saw there. But from here, we're just going to continually run it through this until it reaches the desired thinness. You can, depending on what machine you have, how thin it can get. I made my noodles a little bit thicker than normal. I made a Alfredo with this, so I decided to make them a little thicker. Sometimes I make really thin noodles, sometimes I make really thick noodles. Really depends how I'd like to do it. Next, I like to rub both sides of the dough with flour and just kind of lay it on top of each other. This prevents it from sticking, especially after it gets made into pasta and sticking in the bowl. Later, I will add a small amount of flour in the bowl just to keep them from sticking. But really, after it goes straight into the bowl, you can just make it straight into the boiling water if you'd like. You don't necessarily have to put it in a bowl, but you can also rest the dough itself in the fridge for an entire 24 hours, or you can also do the same with the pasta noodles. The noodles will, however, become a little firm and they will stick, but they will still cook fine. And there we have it, all the way to the end. We have some fantastic looking egg noodles. There we are. And I like my noodles really long. You can cut them up if you'd like. I just find it easier like this. I'm lazy. But just put it straight into the pot. And there we have it. Really lacy, really long.